I just scared a couple of neighborhood kids. A typical day in Eugenia's land. Welcome to my channel. Hello, it's been a minute. I've been very busy with Burning Man. Actually, I just wanted to show you two hats that I made, but about that maybe later. So in today's video, we're gonna be actually soldering. So we're gonna be making this pendant, the very Pinterest pendant. It's basically going to be something along these lines. Okay, so I actually made this prototype like a month ago because girl has been busy. So I've been craving to make this pendant for a while. So this one is a prototype, and as I mentioned, there's something similar we're going to be doing. So I've been craving to make a pendant like that for a while. You know, I'll show you a few inspirations from Pinterest. So I've made this, but it's a little too simple for me, and I want to kind of experiment with a couple things. I want to experiment with wire. I've seen that people have been adding wire on here instead of this is a jump ring, a giant jump ring, very sturdy, but some people would use like very flimsy wire, but I don't know if I can trust that, so maybe we can experiment. So real quickly, I'll give you like a rundown of supplies that we would need. The first thing you would need is a soldering iron. I have a link down below. This one is amazing. I've been using it for like 2 years. I love it so much. This is that hopefully I'm gonna be able to figure out how to put images here, but this is basically the iron we're gonna be using. We will also have to use Flux. I use liquid Flux. This is the brand I love. It's amazing. Also, you would need lead-free solder. I love using this one. This one is amazing. It doesn't have any lead. If you're wearing the pieces that you make sure you use lead-free solder wire. Please, this is very important. You would need a heat insulation mat. I'll put it right here if you can still see me. You will also need a fan because it's the fumes that are happening throughout the soldering. It's better to avoid them, so let's use this fan. It's amazing. Then you would need a mask. Mask is gonna be right here. This is the brand that I like. It works, it's great, it has filters, and you're gonna be using some tweezers. You might need a third hand, but lately I've been kind of getting away without third hand, so this is optional. And the last thing you would need is a copper tape, and I'll link it up here. So I think that at this point, like, I'm covered with all the things that we need to use, but you know, magic of editing. And the last thing you would need, let it all go away. And I think it was very dramatic. And the last thing you would need is the actual crystal you're going to be setting. In the past, I used that jump ring because it's like very sturdy, but I kind of want to experiment with just wire. Like, we'll see what's going to happen if we would be able to cover it, if I would need to apply copper tape or not. So we're going to be figuring out this part together. If it won't succeed, we'll be using a jump ring that I used in the past. Okay, so this is kind of the plan of attack. One note about copper tape, I'll link it down below, but basically I'm using a copper tape that has a black backing because we're going to be working with I'm going to be working with see-through crystal, and I hate when you can see like copper orange underneath. So let's get started. I just want to show you real quick the hats. So I just finished them yesterday. I attached some fabric to this hat, and this is how it looks. And then this is the epoxy sculpted eye that I did. I have a video on my channel actually where I show you guys how I made those. And this is this Illuminati-esque looking hat. Also, it also has an eye, like a third eye. It's gonna focus, you see? Third eye. It's a wild hat. It's very like Erykah Badu. Erykah Badu did change my design. Okay, I got the crystal. The crystal is here. So let's begin. So let's just think, what are we going to do? Anyway, the neighbors started to vacuum all of a sudden, so I had to distract myself and started working on this crystal thing. Anyway, we have a crystal, and I am a little bit hesitant using something very flimsy like that because I'm not sure if it's gonna hold up, but I will make an experiment for you guys, so in case you are wondering if this would work, you would know. And I'm also going to be setting something onto the stone. I mean, it's kind of Halloween season, so I might go with something cheesy-esque like that, but it might not look cheesy. This is plastic, by the way. Sometimes you can't get away with plastic, with soldering plastic. It actually works. In the past, solder on these, and these are plastic, and it worked. So, but we will you know, I kind of like to leave a little bit of room for the project to tell me what it wants. You know, we have a direction, but who knows what's gonna happen. So the first thing that you do whenever you solder, you wear your mask, right? So let me get my mask. Let me set everything up here on my desk. Move my wild hats out of the way. Let me quickly talk about that copper tape. So the one that I mentioned earlier. So the copper tape that I have has a black backing. There it is. Oh, I keep all my copper tapes in here. So basically, this is what I mean. I have a whole video, but you guys didn't really care about that video much, so maybe not all of you saw it, but this copper tape has a black backing. See? Like it's black. Why it's important is because whenever you work with clear stuff like crystals, if you just add copper, as I mentioned, it's gonna look DIY-ish, and you will be able to see orange, right? But we don't want that. We want professional moodiness. At least I do. Like that's very important for me. So when I discovered there's a copper tape with black backing, I was like, oh my gosh, now I can work with clear stuff. So this is this example, right? How you see how it's gonna look like a shadow. I love that. This ring that I have right here, I also used black copper tape backing. You see there's a line. This is that black copper tape peeking through, and I love this ring. I'll be wearing it like almost daily. Anyway, I'm wearing this necklace I made, but I don't think you guys are interested because it's pretty simple. There's no soldering here. Anyway, so let's go back to soldering. So you have to wear a mask. I'm going to talk about it in every single video. Have to wear a mask, very important. And I'm going to also pull up my fan. And yeah, that's what I want to talk to you real quick about. Before we start working, we have to have like a right mindset. That's what I'm trying to say. So have a right mindset that you will succeed. If you don't believe in yourself, I believe in you. So you will succeed. If you fail, it's okay. It's not a failure, it's a learning curve, and you're gonna solder again, and then it's gonna come out beautiful. So, very important. This is very important. This is like 40% of success is the mindset, right? Anyway, actually, I keep forgetting to bring it up, so I'm gonna bring it up right now because every time I edit, I'm like, oh, I forgot to mention the sandpaper. So whenever you solder, unless you're going for a certain look, your soldering pieces would be very sharp, like spiky, right? I suggest you getting filing set. So I will show you right now what I mean. And also you would need a little bit of sanding paper. So I got this pack on Amazon, and basically it's like from very coarse to very fine. So, you know, and you need it because you can go first with the roughest paper, but then work your way up to 2000 or 3400. I don't know which one is the finest, but like 2500, you know, like they have like different fineness of that, right, of the paper. So it's really important to polish your pieces because especially if you're selling them, you don't want people to get hurt, to cut themselves. So finally, I'm not forgetting about this because it's kind of an essential. You kind of need it. If you don't have a sandpaper, if you don't want to buy it, like for instance, if you don't buy a whole pack, go to Home Depot, buy like 2500 to 2000. It would do. But also this is a filing set that I got, and I think I have it linked in the description. But basically these are these tools that you would use to smooth the surface, right? And ideally you should use something like that to smooth the surface, and then a little bit of sandpaper to polish it. Okay, so I've turned on my iron, and the temperature that I'm using is, because I do want the solder to flow, it's going to be 800, and I want the temperature to be around 740 to 800. I'm gonna be soldering at a high temperature only because I want things to flow. So that's what I'm gonna be at, like 700 to 800. But now we're gonna be working on the crystal. So I went ahead and degreased it. I added some alcohol to make sure that the tape sticks better. And now I'm going to be peeling the tape and applying it to this crystal. So let me show you how. Okay, so this is a crystal we're going to be working on today, and I degreased it with alcohol, this part, so I'll make sure that the tape sticks. So now we're going to get some tape, and I'm going to just tear whatever I feel like is enough, and I'm going to peel this But very important, make sure this is not touching your skin because it would lose that adhesive, right? Okay, it might not adhere. So I'm just gonna be following the shape, and this part I like to cut because I was kind of touching it a little bit, so I'm gonna get rid of that, right? I am going to go ahead. Remember when I was peeling it, I've touched this part with my hand, so I'm going to actually cut it. I'm gonna take it off because I don't want to risk it not adhering to the piece. Like, this is how important it is. It's like that glue that's holding the whole plate, the whole thing together. So like, try not to touch it at all costs. Okay. I'm kind of pulling a little bit, so it's super snug. It's not loose. If it's loose, that's it. It's gonna fall and overlap. So this is your first base, and you see this is exactly what I was talking to you about. You see how dark it is on the inside right here is because it has a black backing, right? So for me, again, it's super important because then it's gonna look, you know, then the mystery is gone. It's like, oh, you just, you know, sorted it. And we want things to look professional, expensive, because you might guys be selling them online. So I'm going to use this excess tape that I have, but you see how I'm touching this? So I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm not gonna use that part. And this one, I'm gonna try to guide it without touching, okay? And all I have to do is basically just figure out how to apply it, but I'm gonna start with kind of this line, and then just make sure it's super well pressed to the surface, because if it's not, you're gonna have to deal with an issue later. Tear it again, and again, try not to use the part that you just touched with your hands. Okay, continue following the shape of the crystal. I use my nails, and some people have certain varnishing tools to do that, but I've been using my nails all this time, and it's fine. You can guys use your back of the nails, but just be careful not to hurt yourself, not to cut yourself. You see, these two I need to be covered as well, so I'm going to grab a little bit more tape. Again, when I'm peeling, I'm trying to touch it very minimally, or just make sure. It's really important for it to not, especially I find this black backing tape not to be has as strong bond as other tapes. I'll be honest with you. It's a little less strong. So just be mindful that that's the case. So like, work extra hard, making sure that everything is super snug and flat, and there are no air bubbles, there are no creases. Try to make it just great. Now my job is to make sure everything is very snug to the stone, because if it's not, you're gonna add a bunch of solder. The weight of the solder and the bale will basically make it very heavy, and it can just come off like that, and you don't want it. So make sure it's done right. Also, another friend of yours in Soldering Journey is resin. I don't have anything that I resined here, but I did glue smoky quartz or tourmaline and clear quartz together with malachite using resin, and then I soldered it, and that was the ring that I gave to Erica Badu, and hopefully it's still in a good condition. Hopefully, like, I didn't get a chance to test it, but it was very strong. It was a very strong bond when I attach it together. All right, so now we're gonna be experimenting in the way that the first step is basically cover this part with solder, and for that you would need flux. You would need also synthetic brush, I forgot to mention. You will need your soldering iron nice and hot with your lead-free solder wire. The way you shape the wire is important because that makes your life easy if you shape it this way. So just make sure you shape it like a question mark, basically, and look like a hook, so you can just get access to solder very easily this way, just like that. So what I'm going to do right now is gonna grab the brush, synthetic brush, and then we're gonna experiment with using different wires as a bale. Maybe I would be able. I'm a little bit paranoid, so I might be using 2 or 3 wires because I feel like this is too thin. So we will be experimenting in a minute. I'm curious myself if that would work because they look a little too flimsy for me. So we'll see. So this is the place where I'm gonna start putting my mask on. So hopefully you guys can hear me well. If not, I'll do a voiceover. So here goes my mask. There's my Flux. So I'm going to be coating this. How easy, you see, it's like applies so easily. And then I'm just gonna coat my piece. Just relax and apply solder. Like that. Get more. See how like I'm making it like almost inflated looking? Because my temperature is very high. Look, it took us less than a minute to cover this. See? I'll talk to you right now. Let's chat. Okay, so I'm taking off my mask. So you see how easy it was? This took us like 5 minutes to do this. So that is like half of the battle is done, right? Now we're going to be experimenting. In the past, as I mentioned, I used a different wire. But right now, maybe we will work with something that's, you know, like just make my life easier a little bit. This is more sturdy, I feel like, and it's silver. Maybe I'll be using this. But I don't trust this such a thin wire to hold this whole part. So I will be doing... I'll do double, okay? Because like I'm just not gonna be okay if it's not gonna work. So I feel like if it's double, which I might be wrong because I don't know if they're gonna be glued together. So this is another question I'm gonna be answering for myself. Can this be attached? Like, should I twist it maybe before I do that? I don't know. We're experimenting, but you know that's the best part, right, of making art, like experimenting. And then we're gonna come up with process, and then it's gonna be easy. But first time is it's nerve-wracking, of course. Like, I'm scared myself. What if it's not gonna work out? So what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to create a bail that goes around my shape. Obviously not ugly like that, but maybe even like, should I twist it? I feel like I should twist this before we do anything. Like, at least a little bit. And this is kind of what my inner instinct is telling me. Twist this wires together. But I might be wrong. It might be incorrect. Maybe I'm messing up the whole thing. But let's twist it, because I feel like that is the better way. More sturdier solution. Okay, so it's more... Now it's less flimsy, and that's what I am going for. So this is too big for it. I don't want it to be too big, so I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna cut it using my pliers, my cutting pliers, and this is so just forming a shape. Like, maybe even that is too much, so I'm going to cut this part again as well. Maybe I should have not cut this part. Maybe I should have left it as a whatever. It's too late now. Don't cut yourself, form a shape. I think there's a way to form a shape, like using something. I'm sure there's a more professional way of doing it, but this is what I've done, and it's fine. It's round, okay? It's round enough for us. I was going to let's put on some music. We're not gonna put on some music. I'm gonna turn on the fan. I'm gonna put my mask again, okay? Putting it on. Safeties first. And let's add solder to that wire. It all, because you never know. It's kind of interesting. Okay, so let's just check this out. This is my first time doing soldering on those weird just wire, right? On a wire. So this is cool by now. This is wild, and it's pretty sturdy. I'm like amazed, to be honest with you. It's an interesting shape. I'm the one who's always like, let's smooth things out. But this looks really raw and organic, like comparing to this one. You see how much bigger it is, And you believe it or not, but it's very sturdy. It still have that give, so I'll be able to like open it up a little bit, but it's very sturdy. It's good. It's a good bale. Hopefully I'm using the right bale the right way. Otherwise, you know. And look, this is much better proportion-wise than this. This looks more expensive, more put together, and this is a smaller crystal. Oh wow, like I thought I'm gonna hate it, and you see, I stick to the course of action, and it's fine. All we have to do is now add some flux on these both ends and add more solder and connect these two pieces together. And this is not orange. I feel like it's orange copper tape. It's just my skin is basically reflecting, but it's all covered in solder. I don't know what's wrong with my English today, but anyway, so we're gonna add that, and then we're gonna think, what are we going to set here? Like, as I mentioned, we might be going kind of like on Halloween-esque cheesiness, but then maybe not, because it's gonna literally ruin the whole crystal. So it's a little too distracting from the main character. So I don't know what's gonna happen, but we're gonna be adding something onto this. And for you guys that are mindful like of time, and all of us obviously hopefully are mindful of time, but you know, just how long it took me. The whole thing is, so far, if I wasn't filming, I would have been done. See, but I cut myself. See, this is exactly, I didn't go all the way to my skin, but you see I cut myself. So very careful with these, you see? Be very careful, because you can cut yourself. This is the perfect example. That's why you need to file them. As much as, like, I see some people love to do spiky ends, and I think they look really pretty and alien-esque, but you can totally, I didn't even notice how that happened. Okay, so my mask is on. Let's and I'm adding more solder to join. Guys, look, see? Let me turn off the fan. What did it? She's so cute. So like I did kind of go a little bit towards the back, like I was saying, that should be pretty even. The centering of the bale, but it's okay, I feel like, if it's towards the back, because that would be our front, and I really want to be the one of those sides to be flat, like facing us. So it's done. I feel like this is much cooler than the first one, right? What do we think? So I feel like it's missing something, right? So we should look at what we have here to then add. There's a little centerpiece for this piece. There's always so many things we can add, but then maybe we can add something like that, but then I don't want to. So I found for us something. So I think we can be using this guy right here. This is lab-raised zircon. I love them. They look like real zircon, but they're not. So how about we're gonna degrease it, use some alcohol, right? As I mentioned, we're gonna grab our black copper tape, and I'm going to wrap this, and I'm going to set this here. It might be a lot of work, but that's okay. I'm committed. I feel like this is gonna be good. I could use a piece of like porcelain, but I'm kind of feeling a little bit like a little bling. Do porcelain or bling? What do we do? What do we do, guys? Should we do both? No. Just the porcelain? It's interesting the way that looks with a porcelain. But this is kind of like very Aztec. I wish I had a piece of turquoise. Turquoise would really be like, really pop. This was a ring that I never finished, actually. But I can cheat and do something like that. Nobody's gonna know. How would they know? Something. Still going for a bling. Should we do this randomly? Right? Like, why not? This could be an interesting piece. It will sell. This would sell. Let's do this. Okay, change of plan. Never mind. So, I've never attached a heavy piece of brooch like that, but we shall see if it works. And I had a comment on my channel if we can use just metal and see if it works. So I'll try to not to add any copper tape and see if it will take, if they will take the flux. We're experimenting, so, you know. I'm just gonna add more flux. This is where your friend resin would come in handy. Okay, the assumption that it would stick without copper tape has failed, so we're gonna go to plan B, and that is attaching copper tape to this. Okay, so I've added copper tape, so now I'll be able to attach this. Condition the tip. This is very important. So this is very important, guys. Whenever you're done soldering, we need to condition this tip. So let's condition the tip, and that way our tips will stay perfect and conditioned. It will prevent oxidation and rust, and it's gonna be looking like a brand new. You're gonna condition it, and then you're gonna put it back in the docking station. Okay, like that. That's it. Okay, so the reason sometimes that I'm hesitant to make these videos is because I have imprints on my face whenever I'm soldering, and I'm like looking like a homeless, but this is not a beauty channel and you will forgive me, right? Anyway, so I'm very happy the way this turned out. Look! Like, look, just look. It was very anticlimactic, so there you go. Look how cute she is. But then I forgot, when I was applying copper tape to the back of the flower, I used orange. So it got me, you know, and I don't even know what would be the remedy because I was applying it to the back, and anyway, you can see a little bit of orange. I can see a little bit of orange, but I don't think anyone will care, and this should not stop you. This is very secure. Like, I'm gonna give you a better close-up, but this is just beautiful, I feel like. I love that this is raw. It looks like vine, right? And this is a flower. Like, this would sell. This would 100% sell. Like, I'm so happy the way it turned out. This is so much better than I thought, and now we know that wires, just a regular wire that you use for jewelry making, could make a bail. Way of finishing this, because this is beautiful. I'm so happy because this is so cute. I'm so happy the way it turned out, actually. Like, so much better than I thought. I love it. It's very beautiful. I think it's, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below if it's cute or if you think it's not. Okay, so I just want to give you one more close-up of this. This is how it turned out. This is the side. This is the back, where you can see a little bit of that orange copper. But you see how this is all nice and black because we use that black backing tape. And this is the side, other side. And this is the brooch. So, well, it's been a little bit chaotic to film this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit out of shape when it comes to camera management. My camera ran out of storage. I had to charge my battery. It was a little challenging, but I'm happy we finished it, and I'm happy that I filmed it, and I'm so happy that we experimented together, and apparently this method works. I was so hesitant and I was so skeptical, but apparently it does. So again, I used this artistic wire basically that I bought to make some crystal jewelry that I'm working on right now, and this is what I used as a base for the bail. I just want to confirm that this method works. It's pretty stable. I can't really move it around. This is perfect. And it looks very rustic. It looks very, like, this is the perfect effect if you want your jewelry to look raw and like rustic and not smooth. This is very easy because you can really form whatever you want. You can add as much as you want solder to it and create spikes and do weird stuff. So this is kind of the method, guys. I'm gonna be using it for sure. You know, there's a way maybe I can incorporate it in my rings, because rings are like my favorite thing to make. But this is very cute. It's a little bit like on the floral girly side. I don't really do florals that much, but I don't regret. It's good to experiment sometimes. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was educational and fun and a bit chaotic. Sorry that it was a bit chaotic, because but it's kind of the style, you know, of my videos. Thank you so much for watching once again. I hope that I inspired you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Kisses!